You're watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C and Chino Liao recording from the TPN studios. No Ro, no Emil, but we've got someone who's more than twice the entertainment value on the podcast because
and the size probably
return. The size, yeah. Sorry, Ro, with respect to your gains. We've got returning to the show an old friend of the pod, someone that some of us here in the local wrestling industry consider a mentor, a friend, a kuya. Please welcome to the show the reigning, defending MyPW World Champion, Carlo Cannon.
What an intro and a lot of pressure. More entertaining, okay.
Off the dome yun.
Okay, that was very good. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Welcome back to the show. You know, we've been so excited na finally we got you back here on the show, live, face-to-face, and in the studio. Dapat nga, last week pa ito mangyayari.
Yeah. I got a bit of a food poisoning.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the ice.
It is the ice. It probably is the
That being
ice.
said, even though my coach is going to be upset, I did have halo, and that's all ice. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
Maybe the sugar killed it. We don't know.
It could be.
Nakano ka na, no? 2 weeks na ba dito or like 1.5 weeks?
Maga 2 weeks now.
So what's it been? Kasi, or what's it been like for you? Kasi sabi mo, this is like the longest you've stayed in the Philippines.
Yes, it is. It's funny because before this, I was in China for about 3.5 weeks, and let's just say the living conditions wasn't the greatest.
Okay.
So I decided to leave early and come here and be like, I'm gonna train, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna like diet, I'm gonna focus, and I've done the opposite, unfortunately. Everyone said it's gonna be fine, but nahihirapan ako kasi ang sarap ng pagkain dito, and everyone's so nice. Hey, we'll take you here, we're gonna take you there, and like you can cheat on your diet. Oh, brother, it has been hard. So all I've been doing, I have been training, but I've also been eating. So hopefully I haven't lost too much of my size.
Dude, when we took that picture from when we were at Manam last Tuesday, one of my friends said, nah, your arms are like as big as my head. So
I need this. Give me that confidence. Give me that ego
boost.
I love it.
Of course, we know that Carlos here in Manila to compete at Dexcon Sari-Sari Slam. That is happening this weekend as we're recording. October 18 for the meet and greet, October 19 for the show. By the time you hear this, it might very well be Dexcon weekend or baka natapos na yung show. But we got to start with that because that's the sole reason why you're here, diba?
Yes.
How did this all come together? Because when we were talking on the pod 2 years ago, it seemed a little bit of a pipe dream for you to be brought in here to wrestle.
Yeah, look, I've wanted to come here. This has been like a bucket list for me for a long time. Obviously, being a Filipino heritage, both my parents born and raised in Pasay, I wanted to wrestle in the Philippines. So when we spoke 2 years ago, it was almost like COVID times, just after, right?
Yeah, man, 2023.
Yeah, I remember. And I was just like, I wanted to. So I think last year, Rush reached out to me about possibly me coming in, and I was actually supposed to come in sooner, but I was double booked for another show, which they didn't actually use me, which was really frustrating because I was like, I should have been here. But we had spoken about coming over, what it took and stuff, and everything just aligned perfectly this time around. I had been offered a role in China, and I told the guys in China I need to be in the Philippines by this date. Can that be done? And they were like, yep, we'll do that. So the stars aligned. So I'm really excited for this time around because I think if I'd come sooner, I wouldn't be mentally and physically where I wanted to be. So I'm feeling unbelievably confident for this weekend in terms of how I feel, how I look, my mental capacity in terms of wrestling and just mental health and well-being. I feel incredible. And now also being here for 2.5 weeks, you know, sarap ng buhay dito. So it's like, you know what I mean? I feel good.
Sarap yung buhay with the Australian dollar.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear, guys.
Okay.
Let's make that clear.
That is true.
Masarap ang buhay pag mataas ang, you know what. Yeah.
And I work a lot. So, you know, I've been saving.
I mean, you deserve it though. You know,
Yeah.
It's rare you get time off here. So yeah.
That's true. I was thinking about it the other day. I haven't had a holiday for at least 12 years. So, and this is probably the closest thing I'm gonna get to a holiday where I'm just doing nothing.
I mean, working holiday, sure.
Working holiday, yeah, but like I've just been working. Like I work 6 jobs back home, and I'm constantly wrestling. I'm teaching at my school. Like I just don't take breaks. And if I get money, I don't buy stuff. I just use it to travel or like when I'm traveling to spend over there.
Let's run the people down the number of things you do for a living here.
Yeah, 6 jobs. Diba? Binangin natin yan.
Okay. So obviously I have my own wrestling school, Vicious Pursuit.
Number 1.
So I coach 3 times a week, sometimes 4, and private classes. So I don't really, everything's in the realm of coaching. We have online classes as part of that too. So I have my online class every week, and that has guys from Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Australia, the US. So I'm teaching. So that's all in one blanket I put under.
So 1 is coaching.
Coaching, yeah. And then obviously being a pro wrestler.
That's 2.
So I'll count those 2 with the weekends. I do security at a bit of a bougie club in Melbourne called Miss Collins.
So you're a bouncer.
So that's 3 times a week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday from like maybe 8 o'clock till 4 a.m. So I'm doing that. I'm a personal trainer.
4.
So, and I write programs and train people. I'm a massage therapist. So I have my own bed where people come and get massages, whatever. And then I do freelance content like editing and content creation and stuff. That's 6.
Shit.
And then I have an active social life.
Right.
As you probably see, I have like my own, another Instagram account, my Carlo Cannon life account, which is just my everyday life. People say I do more in a day than they do in a week. So I just like,
They're not lying.
I film 2 seconds of my day.
Yung 8 to 4 pa lang, pagod na ako eh.
Yeah. And I don't look, and I probably, my coach gets upset about it because I don't sleep enough. I probably get like 4 to 5 hours a night.
Right.
So I probably need to sleep more.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a lot of sleeping here. So
I mean, you get it in, man. You get it in, and that's what's important.
I think it was, I know, because of COVID, life's so short.
Right.
And during COVID, we couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then I'm in a point in my life that like, if I want to get somewhere and be where I want to be or do what I want to do, I can't get there by just doing nothing. And I probably overdo it and do too much. But also on the other part is when I have my students, I want to set an example. I feel like it's a lot easier to set an example and carry yourself a certain way. Because when they say, Carlo, I'm too tired from work. I'm like, that's funny because so am I. I finished work at 4 o'clock this morning and I'm here teaching at 11. So I don't know what you're talking about being tired. Or if I look a certain way and I'm in shape or I'm a lot bigger than the other guys, it's like, well, how can you not get gym time when I'm working 6 jobs in this? And it's a lot easier for them to go. And it's not a way to being arrogant or cocky. It's more of going, well, if he can do it, then so can we.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it's more along the lines of, because like, if you know me, my intentions are never of malice.
Yeah,
it's more of like, well, if I can do it, you can.
What about yung counter argument though, just for the sake of conversation?
Yeah, of course.
Na, the situation in Australia is different from like in Malaysia or Philippines, like let's say economically, na mas mahirap to actually get all of these jobs that afford you the time and the flexibility.
Or like
to,
even getting around from one place to the other.
Oh, because of the
cost
traffic and everything.
things,
Yeah. So what about that?
I think there's always a way, but you have to find it. So based on your circumstance, like I didn't always have 6 jobs.
Right.
I worked a 9 to 5 and I was making a lot of money. I was a customer service manager for a freight brokerage, earning over 120K a year, right? Great money.
Right.
But I was depressed. I was sad. I was sitting in an office all the time. I had no motivation and like I had money, but for what? So I make significantly less than that sometimes. And then I just do what I want.
Right.
Instead of chasing money, I chased happiness and I do things that fulfill me. Yeah. So working at the club, it sometimes it sucks. At 2 a.m, you're sleepy and tired, but I work with great people. And the patrons that come in, you've got regulars, they come and see me and they bring me gifts and they bring me snacks. And I'm
sure seeing hot people takes the fatigue away.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That also helps, right? And then also with my clients, I don't just PT everyone. I'm very picky of the energies I lead in my life. So economically, yes, it would be hard here. And it's hard for me to speak on because I don't live here. Yeah. But I think a lot of it is trying to figure out, well, how do I make this work? We live in a day and age where your phone can make you money. So if you're sitting at home worried or crying about, I can't do something, you have literally a phone with ChatGPT or whatever that goes, well, how can I make this money? Or what can I do? Can I create content? Just start filming and just doing things. You don't know what's going to go viral. You don't know. Like we're in a day and age where yes, anyone can get famous for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But anyone can also get famous for the right reasons.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all about, I think it's perspective. Okay. So you can be a victim of your environment or you can do something about it. And that doesn't dismiss what people are going through because everyone's got their own journey and their own struggles. But I think you'd rather be proactive to the situation than reactive to what's happening to you. So that's usually my mindset on most things.
when we were speaking on Tuesday, we were hanging out. I was taking Carlo around some of the pasalubong stops where, you can get stuff that you can take home. You were telling me about how you have this philosophy about where you want to be in terms of lifting up Asian pro wrestling. Because you come from Australia where, let's not kid about it, it's a thriving scene. You have a lot of these names that have been plucked from Australia, have made it to mainstream pro wrestling in the US. Now, you want to do the same for Asia. What does that entail? How do we even make that happen?
Asia's such an interesting market. I think it's so beautiful because here it's appreciated, right? It's not oversaturated. Right. It might feel oversaturated because you guys are here, but when I come to these audiences and I feel there's a certain level of wrestling and a certain level of storytelling that you bring, they eat it up. And wrestling in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Thailand, all these places I've been to already, the response I've gotten and just the reaction just shows me that they're so appreciative of this. There's no snobby fans here. Do you know what I mean? There's no arrogant fans.
Wala na encounter. Meron din.
I didn't want to say,
but you know what? Look, I get told that in other places, in Singapore and all that stuff, but I never see it.
So I see it all the time with my Tagalog commentary. Okay. I post it on Reels, yung mga highlight clips namin of us losing our minds on commentary. And people go like, oh, this is so cringe. Hindi ko kailangan ng Tagalog commentary, bro, nakakintindi ako ng English. Or they'll say like, putang na loob, ano sinasabi mo?
Okay, I get that. But it's also the internet. Right? Yes. And I think the internet will always do that.
Yes.
But when
emboldens people.
100. But when you're in person, I can tell you now, like for me, when I'm there and I'm looking in these people's eyes and I meet them after, there's nothing that matters than what's happening.
Okay.
And that's where it is. Because behind the keyboard, you can hide your emotion. You can hide and be tough guy and say whatever. But when you're there and you're feeling and you can see it, and then you're reciprocating the energy that you're getting, there's nothing like it. My last match with Butcher Man in Singapore is probably the match of my career. And the emotion that we felt in that building was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I was like doing things in the ring that I don't normally do because it felt real for me. Like everything that I do in there is like, I try to create magic. And I feel like in these Asian countries, it's just appreciated more because it's not as often that they get it.
Yeah.
Right. And visually, because it is still a growing scene, visually there's people that don't look like me or move like me that have the 20 years experience behind them that can listen and adjust and not and just give them what they need. Now in Australia, you are right. It is thriving, right? MCW in Melbourne is drawing incredible. They got incredible talents. Same as PWA in Sydney, and you got APW in Perth. Riot City and Wrestle Rampage in Adelaide. Like all these states are thriving, but also too they get it a lot, and it's like we're trying to appeal to people that don't watch wrestling. That's always my goal. So I think in the Asian scene, to raise it up, it's more about delivering the quality that they see on TV on a local stage, and then letting the guys like explore their characters and perform on a level where they go, oh, I understand this now and I can deliver this now. And that's why like I do these online classes and try to pass on information because like the scene, I think in most of these Asian countries are like under 10 years. Yeah. A lot of these companies haven't even been around for 10, like that's half my career. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, what can I do? Again, part of giving back. Like, am I giving to these countries or am I just taking? A lot of people will travel around the world and they do it selfishly. Mm-hmm. They just want to take, they want the name, they want the reputation, they want the money, right? They try to get their merch sales, right? But it's like, well, what are you doing to make sure this is around for everyone else? I have students and I bring them with me to these countries, but also too, I want them to have a scene that they can thrive in. Do you know what I mean? Watching the growth of guys like a Dr. Gore and a Butcher Man. Do you know what I mean? Watching Miles Carew and an Eman Asman, watching these guys go from where they were during COVID to where they are now, where they're like known in all the regions, just shows that like, I'm not saying it's me, but like the teachings and the understandings and what we're giving back to these companies is what's helping grow the scene.
And it's not just you. Hindi lang to yung parang stuff na inimbento mo because this is stuff you got from Lance Storm.
100%. So like, I mean, luckily throughout my years, look, Lance instilled a lot of incredible morals into me, right? And a lot of respect. He's very old school. So I'm very old school, still shaking hands. I protect the business as much as I can. And so for me, because of his name and because of the value he gave me, I'm able to go out there and I meet other guys of name value that have heard of me, which blows my brain because I just think I'm wrestler A sometimes, right? Sometimes, again, in our Filipino nature, we're a bit too humble at times. But when you look at your accomplishments and what you've done, of course, there's guys that go around. Like it still blew my brain that I was a tag team champion with Ken Shamrock. Like that, I watched him as a child. Like that's so strange. But then when you are, they see you on the same level as them, and then you can now pick their brains. When my students ask me questions and I don't have the answer, I will message a Paul London or a Tyson Kidd. Do you know what I mean? Or Jinder Mahal and be like, hey, bro, what is this? I can't remember this. Then I get that information.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then I can share, okay, hey, this is what these 3 guys said, and I pass it on.
Yeah.
I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not going to like gatekeep any information. My philosophy is that if I give you everything, it means I have to go out and get more.
Right.
And my goal is for you not to catch me. But I'm going to make it like, I'm going to give you all the tools to catch me.
Right.
Because it makes me hungry.
Right.
It makes me driven. You know what I mean? I'm a lot older than the rest of these guys. As young as we look, we got those young Filipino genes that make us look super young.
For sure.
Right? But my knees, my back are feeling it, let me tell you, right? But that being said, it's like, I will give you everything. Come and catch me. But at the same time, I'm running and learning and asking.
Right.
As soon as I drop that promo, I messaged a whole bunch of my guys, be like, feedback.
You're talking about the Robin Sane promo that you dropped on
Yes.
your social media
Yesterday,
last Thursday.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yesterday as we're recording. Let's break it down here because like
Sorry, Stan. I just have to jump in real quick.
Oh, sige.
Because we were talking about the Asian scene.
Yes.
And not too long ago, we had one of the pioneers of the Asian scene, Ho Ho Lun, on this pod. And he talked about wrestling in China to people who didn't even know what wrestling is. I'm pretty sure you have that same experience. Can you talk about wrestling in front of crowds that
Oh, this will be a good story.
that don't have an idea of what it is you're actually doing?
Do you want crowds in general or China?
And talk about the most recent trip na lang. Kasi that was a trip.
Okay.
Okay, so look, without going into too much and burying people, whatever, but like China was sold to me differently.
Okay.
And when I got there, it was completely different. Now, obviously with firewalls and whatnot in China,
Yes.
they don't really have some might have like a VPN so they can
Yes.
get on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, whatever. But predominantly, the majority of they don't have that.
Yes.
So they have other apps that they have. And Kuashu is one of them. I think I'm probably butchering it, but that's an app that has like a whole bunch of TV shows.
Right.
But it's all live streaming.
Right. Yeah.
So essentially it's an app of literally live streaming. It's like TikTok, right? So that's what we did there.
Okay.
So there's a show between two. This is what I'm gathering because no one told me anything and no one speaks English.
Okay.
So from watching on the outside in, it's literally 2 families, I believe, that are
Okay.
feuding. The good family and the bad family.
Okay.
And they're business related. And it's like a gang warfare.
Okay.
So when we enter the building, we enter as a gang with weapons. And there is a ring and there's stadium seating where the faces wear white.
Yeah.
And the heels on the back are like wearing black.
Saan ka nun?
And,
Face or heel?
I was a heel the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? Big bad heel. Right? So I walk in there and then you basically have matches.
Right.
Based on what's happening in a live stream.
Mhm.
But then I guess I still don't understand this part. They would punish the heels. And I don't know if it was to gain an advantage or because they did something wrong, but like they would do the slap fight thing and slap the living hell out of like them, men and women.
Kasi mababa yung social credit nyo. Di ba ganun
Yeah.
sa China?
So it could be social
Yeah.
credit. And then they had like they would break sticks on your back.
Ah.
Right? They would break the sticks and then like they're selling and then it was so confusing. Like on my first day,
Okay.
let's just on my first day, they're telling me that I'm the big new bad guy.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, cool. And they put a cape on me
Okay.
and they put a mask on me and I was going to do the big reveal. Okay, cool. They asked what my name was and I said, my name was Carlo. And they said, Rock. I'm like, okay, so I'm Rock. I go, okay, Rocky. Okay, so I'm Rocky.
Okay.
They said, okay, Lock. So I had 3 different names. I knew if it rhymed along those, it was me. They were talking about me.
Okay.
So I waited outside for the stream. I got there at 7. The stream starts at 8. I didn't get into the building till 9. So I was waiting outside till 9. I go in there, do the big reveal. We're like flexing. It's all on phones. It's all streaming. There's people behind screen telling you like visually telling you what to do. Oh, do this. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm yelling,
Okay.
doing what they want. And then I have a match.
Okay.
So I wrestle this guy and then I beat him. They wanted me to use an F5 and my knockout punch. So I give him an F5, they fed up my punching. All right, cool. Or maybe that's why they called me Rock. Maybe I'm Rock Lesnar. I don't know, right? So I boom, knockout, win. Then they say stay. Because apparently I'm reffing the next match. Okay, sweet. I'm reffing. Now, as I'm reffing, I'm looking to the guys that maybe speak English. I'm like, who's good and who's bad?
Okay.
Because it's not like they're wearing certain colors. I'm trying to guess. And then they're telling me fast count for bad guy. Okay, so I'm fast counting, but then I also don't know who's winning. So I'm so confused because it's a TV show. Yeah. It's not wrestling.
And it's live, right?
It is alive. So I'm doing it. I finish one match. Stay. Okay, one more match. Okay, so I ref another match. And then after that, they go, oh, you fight one more time. So my first day, I've already refed 2 fights.
Right.
And I'm having a second match all on the fly with people that don't speak English.
And how many people are watching this?
Okay, so I believe this one had 100K.
Okay,
100,000 viewers.
Okay.
They get viewers minimum of 10K,
Right.
up to 100 million.
Wow.
Like the streaming numbers are insane. And they're insane. And then during the program, they're selling products, right? So there was one day where they said, what's your shoe size? I'm like, oh, this.
Yeah.
They go, you got shoes? Oh, cool. And they look like New Balance. They weren't. They had the letter N look like New Balance. I flipped and said New Brunker. And I'm like, I don't know what New Brunker is, but fine. So I wear the shoes and they go, you have to wrestle in the shoes.
Yeah.
They were too small, but I did. I'm wrestling in the shoes. Midway through my match, the streamer gets in the ring and stops me and tells me to take my shoes off. So I'm like, okay, I take my shoes off. They cut my shoe open and they pull out like some magnet. Right? And it's like, you're cheating. And I'm like, what is happening? I don't know what's going on. And then this went on for like an hour. And then they pulled the shoe in and then they dropped an egg in the sole to show that the thing was really good. They brought a truck in. I see a truck come off a ute and then the truck comes in and it runs over the shoe to show how like strong it is. And then I now have to wrestle another match with no shoes on, and the baby face is wearing shoes, and he's kicking the crap out of me. And then then they stop it. Then they sell the shoe for an hour and a half. And I'm just waiting. It's outdoors. There's bugs everywhere. I'm getting cold. I have no shoes on, and I'm just walking around waiting. And then maybe an hour and a half later, I have my match with no shoes on. He had no shoes on.
That's wild.
Like
This
that's
is
wild.
so insane.
Can you talk about the pig shit?
Oh, the first day I got there was a pig.
Okay.
There was a pig.
Okay.
Because apparently,
Like a real pig. Like,
there was a real pig.
okay.
And it's like squealing and everything because apparently before I got there, the main boss lost the match and had to marry the pig and do obscene things with the pig. And there's a pig, and then there's like the pig in the ring and it's shitting in the ring, but they're not cleaning the shit.
The pig?
I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. All I know is that there was a pig in the ring and it was shitting on the apron and they didn't clean it. And I'm like, I'm not wearing. So if you look at my China stuff, I'm not wearing my proper wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my old gear that I don't wear anymore.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get it dirty. And my old gear, I was actually surprised it fit me, to be honest. Because like, lucky, my coach, Din, he looked after me because now I fit in that.
Yeah.
I was a bit big. So yeah, China was, look, the wrestling's different. My problem, the problem that I have is that because it's streaming, you can be a bit lazy and you can, and they're moving the phone, so they can't even tell what's going on, to be honest, right? But I don't know that gear. I'm either in or out. Yeah. I'm all in or nothing.
Yeah.
Like the other guy there, who's a good friend of mine now, Fabio. He's Red Scorpion in Italy, and he's got 200K followers. Big deal over there. He's telling me, it's like, you're doing too much. He goes, you're doing these 5 to 10 minute TV matches. Okay. That's perfect for television. You're doing too much. Yeah. Stop. You're gonna get hurt here. We're having 4 or 5 matches a day, and you're wrestling like you're on TV.
Yeah. So you're not paid per match there.
Yeah. No, we weren't paid per match. Let's let's
leave it at that. Yeah. Our friend Ho Ho Loon is actually going through that.
He just left. Yeah. Oh, he just left. Oh, okay. I told him don't go.
Oh wow.
And he goes, I want to see what it's like. First day, he messaged me. It's so dirty here. I told you, Ho Ho. Oh, he makes me laugh. I love that man. But look, in general, in terms of like wrestling in front of people that don't understand wrestling, I enjoy that a lot, right? Because when I wrestle in front of crowds now, the wrestling fans get it. So I'm not really wrestling for them.
Yeah.
Right. I will wrestle and tell my story. My baseline of how I wrestle will cater to those fans. Right. The way that I like to wrestle is I like to wrestle for the guy that's convinced his friend please come. I know it's not,
Right.
please. Or that 6-year-old kid that's told all his friends at school that
Yeah.
Carlo's the best, please, you have to come.
Yeah.
My goal is to convert them.
Right.
So I need to give them something that they go, oh my God.
Uh,
And luckily, when I punch people in the mouth, they're like, I think he's killed him. And kids are like, whoa.
right.
And adults are like, okay, oh, well, wrestling's fake. But that guy punched him in the face because it's right in front of me. And I saw the spit fly out of his mouth.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And that's what I love. I don't think I'm this spectacular, crazy, high spot, flippy wrestler.
Yeah.
My gift is connection. So my goal is to find these people and convert them. So I like that. But the thing is, everyone has their own different taste and what they like and what they enjoy about wrestling, what they don't. So my goal is just to find it. And if I can't find what they want, I'm going to make sure that the people around them are enjoying so much that it's infectious.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like when you watch someone laugh and everyone's laughing, you kind of join in, right? But I don't go through comedy. It's more of like shock and awe.
Yeah.
It's like, they're like, I want people going, holy, oh my God. That's what I want.
Like an action movie, right? Yeah.
I
Tsaka
want
sa laki
you,
mong yan, di ba? Syempre, you can't do the ha-ha as much because
Yeah.
you're big, imposing, and intimidating.
Yeah.
and the thing is too, I think I'm a smart ass.
Yeah.
And I have little one-liners and digs that I
Yeah.
think are funny. So I will use that to my advantage.
Right.
I will say things like one of the shirts, it's funny. I was in the crowd doing it was false count anywhere match with Statement. And we're in the crowd and I grab Statement, I punch him, and then I grab one of these fans by the shirt and I say, tell me something to say in Malaysian. And I'm like, oh, why have I done this? There's a lot of things that I do when I just feel, and I'm like, he could tell me anything, and I'm gonna get canceled.
Yeah.
And he said something, and I couldn't pronounce it. Luckily, because apparently it was rude, but I couldn't pronounce it. And then I looked up like, I don't. And he goes, Mumpus. I'm like, okay, that sounds easy enough. I'm like, Mumpus, and I punch him. Right. Then everyone started chanting Mumpus. And that means like to kill, like death.
Right.
Death to you.
Right.
And then they started chanting Mumpus. And then this guy was the happiest. And I got Mumpus t-shirts made and I gave him one for free.
Wow.
Right? Because I'm like, yo, you started a little thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's that. Because now the crowd's involved. And then I can still be funny and kind of like jokey. But I'm inflicting such a violence like, yo, that was funny. That was fucked up.
Ang galing kasi that Mampa story reminds me of Chris Jericho when he last came here in 2016. So he actually asked for a Filipino term na pwede niyang gamitin. And he said na, oh, somebody told me that I should call myself the greatest gago of all time. And then the entire Mall of Asia arena, like 15,000 strong, were chanting gago, gago.
So basically that whole promo, that was during the WWE live here in 2016. Jericho came out, started doing his heel promo, right? Normally. And then, for some reason, the crowd started chanting Duterte. This was very memorable to me. They started chanting Duterte because that was around the same time he was running for president.
No, panalo na siya nun.
Panalo na ba siya nun? So he was that. So it was the thing now. Like it was in the consciousness what Duterte was. So the entire Mall of Asia arena was chanting Duterte. Jericho was smart enough to say, wait, are you calling me a gago? And he was able to turn that promo around and have the entire crowd chanting gago, gago.
Amazing.
I was with my dad in the front row and my dad was just laughing his ass off.
Same, man. Same.
And like my dad is like a jaded old wrestling fan eh. So, you know, parang to get him to experience that was such a treat for me.
And that's the magic, right? And like Jericho is perfect for that. Like I'm very lucky to have a relationship with Jericho where I can ask him for help and advice. And it's minds like that that really shift to that next level. And because he's been so giving and willing to help me, how can I not help the next gen? If someone of his level, if someone is happy to help someone like me, then how could it'd be wrong of me not to? So that's the kind of lessons I take. And like these guys have had so much experience and they understand like Jericho is like he's a bona fide Hall of Famer because of everything he's done.
Right.
And he's giving back. Look at him, what he's doing for Vietnam Pro Wrestling, right? So these are the pioneers and the people that I set my career along the same path of because they're doing what I think is best for this business.
So I've been lucky in my career na, you know, I've got resources like yourself, like Robbie Eagles, and sa announce team namin, like the Spanish announcers of WWE, sina Marcelo Rodriguez and Jerry Soto, that I can just ask questions to anytime. And what kind of strikes me is that the younger generation of wrestlers, at least here in the Philippines, medyo nahihiya pa sila to go out of their way to ask questions and tap into these resources. So as a vet, as someone who's very giving yourself, what can you say to these younger talents to get them to break out of that shell and begin to ask these questions? Because sayang eh. Like if these resources are available, why not maximize them?
Look, I think there could be multiple reasons why they're not
Right.
asking. I mean, they could have also been burnt by someone asking and then like, look, not everyone is knowledgeable. So they may ask and the guy doesn't like questions and is like, well, this is how it is or this whatever. Like I like being asked. I like being challenged and questioned. Like
Yeah, you're a chatterbox.
I will talk,
Yeah.
right? So I get very passionate, especially about wrestling. I think you just have the want for knowledge and the want to succeed has to outweigh the fear of not asking questions.
Or you hear.
Yeah. Like it needs to outweigh it. Like I need to want it so bad that like, listen, man, I'm sorry, but I need to know this. You've been around. Can I ask? Do you know what I mean? Like I already know that most are quite shy.
Yeah.
So I usually just go, hey, do you want this information? Hey, do you want my advice or would you like my thoughts? And I'll offer it to give them the out.
Right.
But I don't know who wants what. And if you don't show up, there's no point. Like I can't help you. A lot of people don't even have the balls to show up.
Right.
Right. I don't know what it's like here, but there are a lot of places that I've been to in other countries where once they're on shows, they don't feel the need to train anymore. They don't feel the need to go on seminars. And also too, they're afraid to look weak. They're afraid to look, some of these young guys are like, they don't want to seem like they're not knowledgeable or that they don't know what they're doing. And they feel like if I go to a seminar and I get called out for doing something wrong, everyone's going to judge me, which is not true. Because they're there to learn. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you're doing. I'm like, if I went to a place and someone's like got chewed out, I'm not looking at them.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I don't do this so I don't get chewed out. I'm looking more at me. But like, I think it's the same as like going to the gym. People are so worried about working out and training because they think everyone's watching them. No one's watching you, brother. They're looking at their own reflection. So I think with these young guys, they need to just, if you're not already asking for information, you're not going to get there, which means you don't really want it that bad.
But what if yung cultural, the cultural nuances that hold you back, diba? Like sa atin sa Pinas,
May hiya.
may hiya,
Oh.
and then we look at ourselves as a lower entity,
Yeah.
diba? Na parang we're all subservient.
Tsaka it's-
Ma'am, sir, ganyan. Like, how do you get over that? Did you ever have that? Kasi Pinoy ka rin, diba? An immigrant pa kayo
I
sa
mean,
Australia.
yeah, but it's like also like the way you ask a question isn't natural to a lot of people, especially
Here sa
diba?
Pinas.
Oh.
Okay, that's a very good question. Now, I didn't realize that I'd been doing this in different aspects of my life.
Yeah.
So I have been working on my self-worth, where a lot of it, I don't think that, like literally, it's only the past 3-4 years that I've realized I'm really good at what I do, right? I went through literally the majority of my career thinking I wasn't great at wrestling. I just loved it. And it wasn't until I had a match that I got a standing ovation for and I felt the energy from the crowd. I'm like, oh, actually, I'm really good at this. And now the confidence I have is there now. And that took a long time, right? I think it's about being self-aware. And that's probably the best advice I could probably give because I went through at least 16 to 17 years of my career thinking I wasn't good at wrestling.
Right.
Even though everyone was telling me how good I was, right? And I would ask questions, but then I would never ask for help.
Okay.
Right. So I would say it's in the same category. It's just different levels.
Right.
I've made the connections. I've worked hard. I've got the reputation. But even then, I'm too afraid to ask, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Because I don't want to burden someone. I don't want to upset them. And the people probably feel the same way on a lower level of just like, can I ask for advice? Right. So I would say being self-aware will help you go, what am I doing? Because what you do in one aspect of your life, you'll do in other aspects. Yeah. So it'll happen with a girl. It'll happen with like your friendship group where you just let things slide because you're too afraid to say something.
Right.
If you are self-aware, you will address all these. And I think that's probably the best because we can't control what anyone else does.
Right.
We can't control how people will respond to the questions we ask, but what we can control is how we respond and what we do. So I think the biggest thing, and it's the biggest thing I think for all pro wrestlers, because mental health is such a big issue, especially in our industry, because you got to play a tough guy and no one wants to talk about the real shit. I think it's so important to be self-aware and do a self-audit on yourself and go, okay, what am I scared of? What am I afraid of? If I want to get to from point A to point B, what obstacles am I putting in front of myself that are stopping me from getting there? Right. And it's things like that. And It's not easy. It's very confronting and it takes a long time. But if you start now, then I think being self-aware and having a friendship group and support network that are going to be open and honest with you will be the game changer. Because then it's not culturally anymore. You control that, right? It's not about the culture. Yes, culturally, we're very subservient.
Passive, yeah.
We're very passive,
Yeah.
right? But if you have a friendship group that holds you accountable and you hold yourself accountable, it's got nothing to do with culture anymore, right? It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you are making the decisions.
I think I won't be able to speak for everybody, pero ako, swerte ako kasi the people that I look up to as vets have explicitly told me rin, pag may tanong ka, just ask.
Yeah.
So I think it also helps surrounding yourself with these positive influences and
100.
networking with these right people.
That's why I have my online classes. You have an out. What questions do you guys have?
Right.
Go for it. And then Butcher Man, he's getting a lot of airtime today. He asks question after, sorry guys, I don't take up too much time. But I'm like, go for it. And
I
he'll
mean, you're
ask
there,
me the
right?
most
Yeah.
intense questions. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay, let me think. And it's great because now other people may be too afraid to ask.
Yeah.
But he'll ask. But now he's the champion in Singapore. So I don't know. He went from being a tag team wrestler during COVID and smoking and not being in the best shape to literally carrying the company on his back. He hasn't smoked since. He's like he's one of my top guys, like in terms of students, because he's willing to ask and get to that next level. So just watch the trajectory of other people. This guy asks questions every single week and he's a champion now and he's still asking questions. Well, I want to be champion. Maybe I need to say something.
He's not sitting on his laurels.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. People just need to maybe this is a Filipino thing too. Maybe a lot of us just like to sit back
Right.
and watch and be like, okay, because there's no risk,
Right.
but then there's also no reward.
Right.
You mentioned the smoking thing, and that's something that I'm passionately against as well, right?
Yeah.
Smoking, vaping, I need that out of my house and out of my life. So a lot of wrestlers here are surrounded by that as well. Kasi normal siya, lalo na dito sa Pinas. So like, what can you say to our wrestlers who are still on the habit, and how do you encourage them to kick the habit?
Again, it's the want. In China, everyone
everybody smokes. Yeah,
smokes
yeah.
indoors, in the cars,
Oh, hell yeah.
windows closed. They give out just smokes left, right, and center. Right. And so
Terrible habit.
Again, it's like, look, I know wrestlers that are incredible athletes and still smoke. That's their prerogative, right? If that's the I just can't do it.
Right.
And for me, I'm trying to be healthier. Here, it's very hard because of the food, not the smoking. But again, it's the want. Like if you're in the ring and you're getting gassed and you smoke, that's a cause and effect. That's
Right.
very obvious or whatever. Or you're like, I want to be champion or I want to be this, but I look like this. You can change that. It's about wanting to change. And it's like, I have no money. There's a way. Like, again, I work 6 jobs because there's things, I live a certain lifestyle that I like. There's things that cost me money. My coach alone costs me a lot of money per week, but I want that. So if I want that, I'm going to have to sacrifice. Does that mean I have to work more? Yes, it means I will work more. Does that mean I have to do things I don't want to do? 100%, right? But that's wrestling and life, anything you want, it's sacrifice. And if these guys say they want it so bad, prove it. Show me you want it. How bad do you want it? Do you want it or not? Because if you don't want it, that's fine. Just don't stand in the way of others that do. And if you watch people walk by you and they make it, you're going to go, well, what did they do? So I can't tell anyone what to do. They're not going to, if you want it, you'll do it. If you know financially this will be good for you, you'll find a way to find that money. If you want to go, I want to look a certain way. I was 60 kilos when I broke into this business.
What's that in pounds? Times two, 120, 130 pounds?
Not even. Yeah, probably.
I saw the video of you.
140.
You showed me a video nyo ni Bronson Reed when he was
Yeah.
Jonah Rock and both of you were still
Tiny.
very slim.
Yeah, 140-ish.
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
Exactly. And now I'm 111 kilos.
It's
Wow.
like 230, 240 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah. Did it take a long time? Yes. Did I get overweight from it? Yes. Did I have to cut weight? Am I still cutting weight? Yes. Like it's a constant struggle about what we do. But that's life, unfortunately. And if it was easy, then everyone would do it. Everyone would have it and it wouldn't taste so sweet, right? The fact that I can be here in the Philippines, sit with you guys, right? Having a body of work that spans 20 years, I can sit here proud and it feels good because I've worked for it. Do you know what I mean? People can't look at my career and be like, you were lucky, man. You got given everything. Hell no. I left home at 18. Right? And I was working for a charity and I moved to Canada on my own to live with a friend of a friend of a friend's house with a mattress on the floor. Right? I moved. So people go, wrestling's too far for me to train. Your training school's an hour away. Canada is like countries away. It's the want. So for me, I don't know if it's a new gen thing where like things are just kind of given to you easy, or like, again, you can get famous on TikTok and make it overnight or whatever. But it's like, you just got to get your hands dirty and work. But that's also part of the Filipino culture. As much as Filipinos say that we're passive and sit back, we're also the hardest working people that don't care what work will do. We'll work to make that money. Like I said, my dad my parents were in Philippine Airlines, great jobs and providing to help, like, you know what I mean, their families. They gave it all up, moved to Australia into a country town where they didn't know anyone, predominantly white. And my dad is pushing trolleys. Right? Like, they started with nothing. But that's normal because you do that for your family. The want to provide for your family is more than the pride and ego of like saying no to certain jobs because you deserve more.
Right.
So we can say culturally there are negative things that we may have, like we're too passive and we're too shy, nakakaya, whatever. But we also have this hard work ethic and this passion and this resilience. So you can view which one you want. Am I a victim of like, oh, nakakahiya eh? Or am I like, whatever it takes, gagawin ko? It's perspective.
And it sounds a lot like the promo you cut on Robin Sane. I want to bring it back to that because you were able to outline your character as Carlo Cannon, which is not that far away from the actual person behind Carlo Cannon, and your motivations as a wrestler, and sell the match with Robin Sane, while contrasting Robin Sane is like the Filipino wrestler who's happy to be a part of the industry versus yourself. I grinded, I scratched, I clawed to get here.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. And notice I don't talk about Robin's talent or ability.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's got nothing to do with it. He's very talented, right? And he's gotten wins and he's a hard worker. That's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. The whole thing that he spoke about is that I need to be ready because he's a pure Filipino. But I'm pure. My parents are both Filipino. I just happened to be born in another country. Right. He happened to be born here. I was baptized here. Right? Does that count for anything? Like, what the whole point is that just because geographically you are somewhere doesn't define you as a person. Your actions and decisions define you as a person. Right? And I was lucky. The only luck that I have is that my parents are incredible, that they supported me through everything. They sacrificed everything. They put me in the best. Like, I feel bad for my parents because they worked their ass off to put me in some of the best schools and spent so much money and went into debt to put me in the best schools for me to become a pro wrestler, right? But that being said, I studied my ass off and I got high grades and I got into what I wanted to in university. I just chose wrestling and they backed me and supported me on it. So I'm very lucky in that respect that my parents are the single most amazing humans on this planet that helped me thrive to be where I am today. But that's got nothing to do with the decisions I've made, right? I've had to crawl. Think about it. I still work 6 jobs. I don't need to. I choose to because I want to live a certain lifestyle, that I want to do something, that I want to travel the world and I want to do all these things. So I choose this. I choose to set an example for my students. You know what I mean? Sometimes I set myself on fire to keep everyone else warm, but I'm not being burnt. And that's the difference. So with Robin, I'm not doubting his ability and his talent and that he might pull a miracle and upset me this weekend, right? What I'm saying is your argument isn't a strong one because I am pure Filipino. And if anything, I'm more because I've taken this culture that we have and ran with it.
Right.
Everyone says to me in Australia, other Filipinos, they say, I didn't think you were Filipino because they're not built like you.
Yeah.
Right? You don't look, hindi kang Pilipino.
Papasa ka Samoan or Maori.
Yeah, they think I'm Maori.
No,
they think I'm
the
Samoan.
size too. That's
the size, right? So that's not genetic. Do you know what I mean? I think the only thing genetic are these calves, which we all have. So we kind of, here I don't feel special. In Australia, my calves are amazing. But like, do you know what I mean? Even in Australia, I don't think I'm that big. On the grand scale, I'm not so big. Right? But I think what makes me feel bigger is the presence and the passion that I have. I will appear a lot larger than life because I want more.
Something we discussed nung magkasama tayo sa Green Hills nung Tuesday is how you didn't want to harp on being Filipino in your public persona because you felt like you hadn't earned the right to.
Yes.
So what does that mean to you? Like, what does it mean to represent being Filipino on a larger stage like pro wrestling? And why did you feel like you hadn't earned it until you hadn't spent time the way you have right now?
To add to that, it was also significant because there are a lot of wrestlers who are of Filipino origin who do represent it proudly, and yet you decide to go the opposite direction with this. So
Despite the fact na ikaw yung nagtatagalog, ikaw yung mga Pinoy.
yeah, diba? There are wrestlers out there with suns on their tights, diba?
Yeah.
And their logos. So how does that affect you as somebody who you've said is pure Filipino?
Look, I didn't want to claim this culture without experiencing it properly. Now, I grew up in a Filipino household. Do you know what I mean? Like, my Lola helped raise me too. Like, I ate Filipino food, sinigang na baboy. That's my favorite. Do you know what I mean? Like, we struggled in the Philippines. Like, we're having spam and rice. Like, this isn't like, do you know what I mean? So I had my own version of Filipino culture that I grew up with, but I didn't want it to be my identity because I hadn't experienced it properly. My parents would take us back here as children to show us the provincia and to show us ang hirap ng buhay dito, right? And I experienced it as a child, but I didn't fully understand it yet, right? And it just made me appreciate everything I had when I was at home. But as I grew up in wrestling, I saw a lot of wrestlers. I saw wrestlers wear the flag and be Filipino, but can't even speak Tagalog or even understand it. And I'm like, well, what are you claiming? And I was like, am I just carrying this for the sake of carrying it?
Right.
To add a badge to my notch, be like, oh, hey, someone booked me because I'm Filipino, right? I wanted to get by on my own merit and make a name for myself and go, you know what? I'm also Filipino. And now that I've been here and I've been enjoying the culture the past 2 weeks, right?
Nasira na nga tiyan mo eh.
Grabe nga eh.
More than the culture.
More than the culture,
The bacterial culture, sure.
Yeah, I'm absorbing everything
Yeah.
into my skin. Right now, I can feel like I can do that. Like my dad helps run the Filipino festival in Melbourne. Right. He used to for years, and we have wrestling there. And it's funny because I never played the babyface. I'd be a heel.
Wow.
Right? Because I'd say the things I would say is like, maswerte kayo. Kasi papangit nyo lahat. Ako ang gwapo na Pilipino. Be proud that I'm Filipino. Papangit nyo. Mahiya kayo. That's what I would tell them all. And then they would boo me. And then the white guy would come out. It's like, I'm Filipino. I'm honorary Filipino. Let's beat this guy up. And they would cheer the white guy to beat me up, right? But like, I wanted to play that other side because I don't know. I felt like I just didn't feel like I earned it. And it wasn't it's not my heritage and my roots. I needed to come live it as an adult.
What does it mean to earn it?
I think for me, it's to like just experience the people and experience like what's around and just take it all in. I wanted to like spend time with actual Filipinos that live in the Philippines on my own accord and just talk and walk around. A lot of the things I've been doing here is just walking around. I've been just walking and just like talking and just like, trying to make it not look like I am a foreigner because I'm practicing my Tagalog and just talking to people and just listening and just immersing myself in all of it. And when I went and see my cousins, you know what I mean? And sit with them and just listen to the stories and see what it's about to be a Filipino as an adult. Because as a kid, I didn't really get it.
Right.
I just knew that we were lucky and these guys are like living on the street. And they're so grateful for everything. It's like, well, I need to be grateful.
Right.
So that's what my parents instilled in me. And we still grew up Filipino throughout my years as a kid. But when I saw other wrestlers, and it's not a shot at them, because they can do what they want and they can claim what they want. But I'm like, how can you say Filipino ako, Pinoy ako, when you haven't eaten the food or you don't know what the food's called or like you can't speak the language or even understand it. So what culture are you claiming here? How can you wear this flag? You didn't choose that. Right. And there's nothing with patriotism. It's not like being proud of I didn't choose to be born in Australia, but I grew up there. Right. So I'm part of that culture. I didn't grow up here. I just knew about it from what my parents would tell me in the stories. So I wanted to come here and not just be here for a weekend and leave, but stay here for a few weeks and enjoy it and understand it and learn it and be like, okay, I'm starting to understand and learn like the struggles.
Right.
And also the passion and the happiness and the joy and the love and the kindness and all the things that make people Filipino.
Right. So how hard is it for somebody in your position? Because you grew up in a third culture, essentially, right? You grew up in Australia, even though you were raised by Filipino parents. How hard is it for you to maintain a grasp on your Filipino identity in that environment?
It's hard because like I mean, one of my best friends, he's Filipino.
Okay.
We talk Tagalog to each other. We try to anyways. And in high school, like, I mean, I was in a few friendship groups and I had my small Filipino group and we would just hang out. But I mean, it wasn't like we were Filipino.
Right.
We were Australians that happened to have Filipino parents.
Right.
And then we were bonded by the same things our parents did and the things that they would say and the superstitions they all had. Do you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. And the duende, don't pee outside the garden because magagalit sila, stuff like that. Kapre, like all those, that's what we were bonded by. But we didn't really understand the culture and what it's like to be an actual Filipino. So growing up, that's another reason why I never claimed it. Because like yes, I had Filipino friends growing up, but I wasn't in the Filipino community. I played basketball. I think every Filipino played basketball.
Yeah.
I played an all-Filipino team, right? And we were just nagsuntukan, which is probably that's very Filipino.
Very Filipino.
Basketball meron.
Basketball turns into
right? So like that's what it was. But like I don't know. You know what it is too, and I think this also goes back to what we were talking about before. It's a self-worth thing. And I just didn't think I was worthy enough to carry that Filipino flag and make it part of who I am. And I honestly wanted to like make a name for myself of who I am as a person. And then people go, oh shit, he's Filipino. As opposed to going, he's claiming the Filipino culture to try and get some success. Right. I wanted to be successful. And then you realize that I'm Filipino and be proud of it. Right. That I didn't use the culture. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't want to use it.
I love that we've taken this conversation in this direction. This is entirely different from what I had in mind before we stepped in here. But I think it's very enlightening.
It's a worthwhile conversation to have, especially because there are so many Filipino adjacent and Filipino origined wrestlers coming into town. This is a question that I personally want to ask all of them. If we get the opportunity to talk to more of our guests here over the weekend, it's definitely a conversation that needs having. Because we're exposed to wrestling on a much larger scale now. With yourself and with all the wrestlers appearing on the global stage, it's a conversation worth having kasi na-expose tayo dun sa spotlight that we didn't really have before.
And look, I don't think we have, like when I think about it, besides Pacquiao, like we don't have like big heroes or people that we can like cling to.
Right, Batista maybe.
Batista, right, and he's half. So it's like, you know what I mean? And like we don't have those cultural heroes that be like, oh, he's Filipino or they're Filipino, right? So I wanted to be like, well, let me make a name for myself without just going, hey, listen, I'm Filipino, you should follow me. It should be like, you should follow me because of me.
Right.
And because I'm Filipino, now I can bring light to going, I'm also Filipino.
It's like a nice add-on.
Yeah, that's what it is. I didn't want it to be like make it my entire identity to get somewhere because I happen to be Filipino. It just, I feel like you're using the culture and not like, I don't know, being part of it. I don't want to use it.
Right.
But now that I'm here and I can speak Tagalog and I can use it in terms of like showing people that, hey, like I am one of you.
Yeah. Right. So we don't have to like stretch things and be like, oh, si Nicole Scherzinger, 1/8 Filipino nga pala yan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bruno Mars.
No disrespect to Nicole Scherzinger or Bruno Mars. You know, they can claim being Filipino since that is part of their origin story. But parang it would be nice to have someone who's actually experienced the culture. And be like, oh, Pinoy ako and I am on the global stage. And I think that's something worth commending.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I didn't want to use the culture as a stepping stone of clout. For clout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is important. This is our identity, and identity shouldn't be used as clout. It'd be like, oh, they happen to be Filipino. Do you know what I mean? It should be like, Carlo's this and he's Filipino. That's okay, cool. Well, now I want to know more.
See, this is such a nuanced take kasi now it doesn't come across as gatekeepery or parang very nag-exclude ka ng ibang tao. It's actually very nuanced now that we've been able to flesh it out in this way. Yeah. And I appreciate it very much.
Parang trying to out-Filipino one another.
Right,
That's not what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to do that. That's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be like, I'm out Filipino, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I'm this, I'm that. It's not even that. It's not even about that. It's like, there's so much more levels to this.
Right.
I mean? And you're
not trying to start shit here.
Yeah. And then you'll see that like I'm on much again, like we're on a different tangent. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
I'm layers on layers on layers and we go on different.
It's in multitudes.
Different tangents and tangents and tangents.
Let's bring it back to wrestling here as we begin to wind down. You are about to celebrate a couple of milestones in your very long career.
Yes.
Tanggapin na natin, matanda na tayo. So that MyPW World Championship you're holding will be yours for 1,000 days this November.
Correct.
And then this December, you will have celebrated 20 years since Lance Storm broke you into the business.
Yes.
What's going through your mind as these milestones are approaching?
Look, I'm going to be honest. it gets scary. It gets very scary
Why?
because they're the very stereotypical of like you're running out of time, right? And people can say that, but it's funny that like it feels like you're running out of time. But I've never felt better in my life. I'm having the matches of my career this year. I've been to more countries than I have ever. I'm in the best shape I've ever been. Minus China, minus China. But like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm rising to the peak, right? And it's no longer that like you need to. This is a young person's game. It is a young person's game. But then you also look at like the world heavyweight champions that they've had. They're all 40 plus,
Right.
30, 40 plus. Granted, they've got the years of experience behind them.
I mean, yes.
But that's the only thing. Like, there's two schools of thought, right? Already people have laughed at me when I was younger for chasing this dream because it seemed impossible. And I've done more in my career than I could even like fathom.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for the experiences I've had. I don't have many material things. I'm not very materialistic, but I have stories for days, right? You can do a pot of just stories I could tell you, right? But I'm near at like, I'm 20 years in and I still get those.
Right.
What are you doing, man? Like, why are you still doing this? Why are you still wrestling? It's like someone said to me, Peter Pan's going to grow up one day. That's what they said to me. And I said, yeah, but he never did he? Right? So it does get scary because then you start going, you know, you're more prone to injury. Your body starts wearing down a little bit. I'm 20 years in and people are like, oh yeah, but you're such a great coach. You should just coach. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to. And like, I also want to have a family and I want to, but this is my life. This is all I've ever wanted since I was 5 years old. And I can't stop now. In my brain, I have that vision of that meme where there's that miner and he's digging, right? And then he gives up and he's right next to the gold. And there's a guy underneath him that's just digging like crazy. I can't be that guy on top.
Right.
I can't stop. So for me, I've had that mentality. I've wanted to quit. I've wanted to leave 100 times. When I tore my bicep last year, I thought that was it. But I'm still here. And I've had the best match of my career since doing that. So my mentality is like, it's only up from here. It can only get up from here. And I've given so much and I've sacrificed so much and I've given a lot of my heart and soul to people in this business and this business. And in my heart of hearts, it's got to pay off. It just has to. So reaching this milestone, being very blessed by the Malaysian company, MyPW, to allow me to be champion for this long and to carry it. I want to, like, I carry this with I can't even tell you how much pride I carry it, right? Everything I do is to go, well, I want the roster to go, that's our champion. I want everyone that roster goes, our champion will kill your champion. That's how I be. So I need to get bigger. I need to get stronger. I need to have these incredible matches. I need to cut these amazing promos because I want them to go, that's our guy.
Right.
And if I'm good enough, they can't take this off me. No one can take this off me because no one else will be worthy of it. But then other companies will be like, he needs to be our champ too because what he's done for that title is another level. So 20 years is crazy. I was talking to Lance Storm about it the other day and he can't believe it because I was 18 years old when I showed up at his front door.
As his first student.
At his very first student. And he used to drive me to class. And he said to me back then, you will never be a heel because you're too likable and you're too sweet and you're too cute, right? Because like I had such a baby face. I was wearing a Cookie Monster shirt all the time, right? And now I'm this killer, which is crazy. And I'm double. I ate the old me, essentially. And we're just talking about how 20 years has gone by so fast. And even now, I don't even feel like I'm even closer. There's so much that I want to do and that I'm going to do. And all the doors of opportunities seem to be opening now. So I think, look, as much as everyone thinks it could be a young person's game, I think realistically with the experience and the knowledge and the connections I've made, it's like, I feel like I'm on the precipice of getting where I want to go.
Right. Okay, no, it's true. First of all, can I just say, quick aside, Lance Storm, quality follow on Threads if you do.
Yeah.
Very entertaining man there on Threads.
Funny man.
But it seems to me that in this conversation that we're having here, that you try and live your life without any regrets. Is that true? Is that what I'm getting here?
That is 100. That is me to a T. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve. Unfortunately, I can't hide it. That's what you see with me is what I am all the time.
Right.
And I'm very open and I tell people how I feel and what I think about them. Probably more than I should, even probably with girls. I probably love bomb them too much because I live as if like I could die tomorrow.
Right.
And if I died tomorrow, I'd want you to know how I felt about you. And I want people to be like, Carlo lived authentically all the time. So I really don't care if people like me, and I don't care. What you're going to get with me is me 100% of the time. Like there's not even like, oh, Carlo's a bit reserved till he meets you. Carlo, I'm me all the time. That's my problem. I'm overly, I'm probably too open to be honest. I think that's my biggest problem.
All right, I've got one question that I think can cap off what's been a captivating interview with Carlo Cannon. Carlo, what do you love most about pro wrestling? Because there's so much love, so much passion about this industry that's just emanating from you. But what do you love most about it?
You know what I love? I love the way it makes you feel. That's what I love more than anything. And the fact that I have been given the gift to gift it to other people, that's what I love most. When you're in that ring and you're filled with this emotion and everything that you're doing, and you look out to the crowd and you can see from a child to an adult to someone's grandma, the eyes light up and they feel what you're feeling, the exchange of empathy, there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling. When the crowd pop at the end of the match because they wanted a certain result and they lose their mind at you either losing or winning, that I can't tell you. Like the way that we're able to affect people without saying anything. The way that like when they come to a show, nothing else matters in their personal life than what's happening in front of them.
Right.
That's the magic. The way that you can shift someone's energy and mood, where you can make someone feel so special. I mean, you watch these TikToks and stuff of like army veterans coming home, or you watch all the stuff where like they surprise their best friend of 25. These heartwarming moments, we can create that as characters, right? Like you can create that moment where they go home and be like, that was the best thing I've ever felt. We get to do that. That's our gift. That's what we get to do. And I felt that when I was a kid and I was 5 years old and I was bullied and I watched wrestling for the first time, and it took me out of where I was, and all I cared about was what I was watching. And now I know I can do that for other kids. That there's no better feeling. And I love that. That's why I don't wrestle for me or the boys in the back. I wrestle for that kid in the front row that believes in me and has convinced 10 of his friends to come watch and be like, you need to see this guy. And then watch those 10 kids be converted and that kid going, I knew it. Yes. That's what makes me emotional. Like, it's funny, my wallpaper, I have to get it later, but on my phone is this kid in Malaysia that made me a sign. And then I'm just walking and I just high five him. And someone got stills of this kid holding the sign up with the biggest smile on his face, looking at me and me acknowledging it. And then there's another still of me going to shake his hand and him shaking my hand, and his eyes are just massive. And then as I'm walking away, he's looking at his hand, smiling and looking at, see, I get emotional. That's what it is.
That's golden right there.
That's why I wrestle, right? My best friend, her son, Haziah, he's going to be so happy I said his name, but Haziah, Chloe, he loves me and he comes to the show. And I can hear him screaming. And I'm a heel on this show. And we won. And as I'm leaving, I see him. And I'm not meant to go there, but I was like, I don't care. I ran to him and I picked him up and I said, this is for you. Right? And the look in his eyes where he's like, this guy that I care about gave me all this love and attention in front of 1,000 people. That you can't get that. You can't replicate that. You can't break core memories from these kids where they feel special. And we're just wrestlers. People think we're just wrestlers. We're literal storytellers, that our goal is to evict emotion from your soul. That's what we need to do. And if you're not trying to evict an emotion, you're not doing this properly. I want you to leave crying. I want you to feel emotion. I want you to hear it and be like, fuck, man, like that was, what the fuck was that? When like you guys can think of your favorite moments in wrestling, how that made you feel when the streak ended. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? When Cena showed up at the Rumble, do you know what I mean? Like take a Sean, like, do you know what I mean? There's these moments where you're just taken aback and you can't breathe. Even further, Hogan Andre, like there's these moments in wrestling where you're just like in awe. We get to do that now. Like that's my gift I get to do. There's no better feeling than being able to do that.
That's perfect. What a way to end this interview with Carlo Cannon. obviously a great hang. Even better follow on social media if you
I mean,
want to
we
stay
could
in
talk to him
touch.
for another hour.
Oh,
to
for
be
sure,
honest.
for sure. Pero may iba pang nakapila dito sa TPN, so we better get our asses out
Yeah.
of here. Carlo, where can people follow you on social media?
Carlo Cannon on everything. So at Carlo Cannon, I need to fix my YouTube up, or my Instagram is there. On TikTok, I've been posting a bit more realer stuff. My China Chronicles are on TikTok. So at Carlo Cannon on everything. And yeah, just find me there. And Carlo Cannon Life if you want to see what my actual life is like. So both of them.
And when can people watch you defend that glorious MyPW World Championship next?
Well, once I destroy and break Robin Sane and give him a bit more of a reality of what it's like to be Filipino. So that's obviously the 19th. But after that, I will be, I'm not sure if I can say because I haven't been announced yet, but I will be in Asia soon.
Okay.
You will see me in Malaysia and in Thailand 100%. I think there could be some more shows in Australia, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say
All right,
where I'm going to be.
We're not going to
appearing
get you in
next.
trouble.
No
I
problem.
don't want to spoil any surprises.
All right. So thank you so much for catching this interview with Carlo Cannon. Carlo, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank
You're on the
you.
podcast. Next time you're back here in the Philippines, we got to do this all over again. And I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll have more
definitely.
stories to bond over.
We'll talk about wrestling this time.
No. It's pretty different from what we had in
No,
mind.
it's
but
actually.
I love it.
Oh,
I love
wrestling
this.
adjacent naman kahit paano. But
Yeah, for sure. Conversations worth having. So make sure to follow the show at Wrestling2X Pod on TikTok, Twitter, and Blue Sky, at Wrestling Podcast everywhere else. Individually, he's at Chino Supersized. I'm at _Stan C. Ro is at Ro is War, and Emil is at EML_Meister. Thank you very much to babyface producer Jasper and the folks over at the Pod Network for putting us over and making us sound and look good. And thank you for catching another episode of the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. For our special guest, Carlo Cannon, and for Chino Liao, I'm Stan C, reminding everyone to stay safe, stay dry, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast. Out. Later, Outcasts.